Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ruin. So today we're doing Magic the Gathering, but top 10 Angel. So now, at number 10, with the first one being on our list, is Angel of Jubilation. It's from Avakian Restored, and it's a rare going for $7.66. The reason for this, well, it costs 4 mana for a 3/3 flyer, which is very impressive. It says other non-black creatures you control get +1/+1. Players can't pay life or sacrifice creatures to cast spells or activate abilities. Well, then basically you gotta do a mono white deck with this card. That's the only stipulation I find for this card. That's why it's at number 10. It's kind of restrictive on that. So let's move on to number 9. Well, we have Radiant Archangel from Urza's Legacy. It's a rare going for $7.13, and that's probably because it is on the reserved list. Costs 5 mana for a 3/3, and it counts as an angel, believe it or not, as it says. But attacking doesn't cause it to tap, okay, but it gets +1/+1 for each other creature with flying in play. Well, you can definitely have fun with that, so even by turn 5, it could still turn out to be like a 7/7, 8/8. It's very impressive, but that's why it's at number 9, is it does have that restriction ability. Otherwise, you're paying 5 for a 3/3, and that's just way too expensive. So let's move on to number 8. Well, we have Angel of Destiny from Zendikar Rising. It's a mythic going for $3.77. And it's not because of the casting costs, because it's all of the writing in the card. Though it does cost 5 for that 2/6, it has double strike. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. All right, pump it up and let's do something. But guess what? If you have more than 15 life from your starting life total, so that's interesting because you can put that in commander decks as well. If Angel of Destiny attacked this turn, that player loses the game. So this card is amazing just because of that unique ability. So let's move on to number 7. Well, we have Archangel of Types from Magic Origins. It's a mythic going for $18.37. Well, guess what? It's just like every other angel. It's 3/5 and costs 4 mana for this flying. As long as it is untapped, creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. And as long as it is attacking, creatures can't block unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. So if you have a lot of creatures, this is kind of a pain in the butt. Otherwise, if you don't, well, this card's kind of useless. So let's move on to number 6. And while this one I thought was actually kind of interesting because it is Angelic Field Marshal for Commander 2014. It's a rare going for $12.49. Costs 4 mana for a 3/3, so same as anything else. It has flying, but it has Lieutenant. So as long as you control your commander, it gets +2/+2, and creatures you control have Vigilance. Again, this is like everything else. It is creature based, but I like that they have Vigilance, and I feel like that's more important. So let's move on to number 5. And we have Archangel of Thune. It's from various sets. It's a mythic going for just under $30 on the market. So now we're starting to see some hardcore cards. 5 for a 3/4, flying and lifelink. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Gaining life with white is quite simple and quite easy. You can easily do that with a couple mana or whatever. And that's why it's at this position, because I think that's pretty powerful, and as you can tell based on the price, it's a good card. So let's move on to number 4. Well, we have Repellitian Angel from Core Set 2019. It's a mythic going for $32.55. And what's amazing is it costs 3 for a 3/3 flying. That in itself is pretty amazing, but it says at the beginning of each end step, if you gain 5 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Okay, 5, that's pretty good and pretty standard. But for 3 colors and 3 white, until end of turn, guess what? The angel gets +2/+2 and gains life link. So there is a backfire, but gaining life, again, like I said before, is quite something easily you can do. And gaining 5 is a bit more hardback, but that can keep going on and on. So let's move on to number 3. And this one's even more expensive. We got Avakian Angel of Hope. It's from various sets. It's a mythic going for $55.70. And I love the picture. I love Iconic Masters. That's got to be one of my favorite Magic series. So anyway, 5 colors and 3 white manas, which is very more expensive than any angel so far on this list. It's an 8/8, okay? Flying, Vigilant, and Indestructible, and other permanents you control have Indestructible. There's quite not much more to say. That's an impressive card. Believe it or not, that's at number 3. So let's move on to number 2. Well, this one is Avenging Angel from Tempest. It's a rare. It's going for $3.50, and it's on the reserve list. And I already know that at number 2, and as well as the number 1 card, you guys might not agree with me. I personally like this, so I am doing a personal thing, I guess. Whenever it is put into a graveyard from play, put that into its owner's library. I love that. So you can just recycle this card over and over again. I know it does cost 5 mana. Back in the day, this card was even more powerful because there was a lot of less cards that are more powerful as they are today. But I'm sticking with my guns. I think this card is amazing. For an angel to be recycled into your library as a white card as well, you can't beat that. And it's probably just more expensive because of the reserve list card. But let's move on to number 1. And guess what? We got Platinum Angel from various sets. It's a rare, then became mythic, and it's going for $3.53. And I'm sure everyone knows this card. It costs 7 mana, which is very expensive, but it's a flying 4/4. And guess what? The next line, you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. If you can't keep this in play, like, you have to. You got to put a Shroud and Destructible, something. This card is 100% annoying, and I love the artwork. I love the saying, and in his heart lies the secret of immortality. Braum is a great artist. I love the card. I just love everything, and this is just more of annoyance than anything else. When it comes to its abilities, not that very powerful. But anyway, you can't lose the game. I'm going to keep going on and on about it. I love this card. I think it deserves to be at number 1. So I hope you guys have a great day and a good evening.